Alright, hello. In this video I want to do just a quick summary of how we work around news. For active day traders, this is pretty important because you are definitely going to be impacted by economic reports. And the good thing is they're actually very easy to find these reports. One good site, and there's of course many choices, is this forexfactory.com. Has a very nice economic calendar. What we typically look for is we look for, in this case, as you can see here, we're going to look for orange or red rated reports that affect the markets we might be trading. So I knew coming into this session with the 9:30 New York start time, of course, in this case just so you know that the time zone we're looking at, that at 9:45 there was the Chicago PMI report, and at 10:30 crude oil inventories. I knew that those potentially could impact my trading today. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through this chart to kind of show you how we deal with this. In this case, this is crude oil futures. It could be any market. It could be Forex. It could be other futures markets. Anything that I know is potentially going to be impacted by that news, we try to keep it really simple. And our rule basically is 5 minutes before that news report, no new trades. So if I'm in a trade, I will go ahead and try to manage that to completion. But starting at, for instance, 9:40, I was not looking to take any new trades, which was right about here. Now, I was already in this short trade here. At 9:35, I got triggered on this short trade here. And of course I was looking for my target down here, and that target ended up hitting before the news. It hit at about let's see, about 9:44. Got very actually, I'm sorry, we're looking, this is your target right here. It actually hit right here at 9:42, which was good because I was able to be at target ahead of the news. No new entries. Okay, now anybody, if you know our high velocity market master at all, you might actually see that we would end up having a re-entry trade here. And it actually worked very nicely. But what I'm going to tell you is I would not take this trade. I did not take this trade because this is in that 5-minute zone before the news. Now, my rule after the report comes out at 9:45 is I block off 5 minutes. Now, the only time I'll usually narrow that down is if I literally see like absolutely no reaction at all. I might go ahead and take the next brand new setup. But in this case, I wait till when I feel I can go ahead and consider another trade. And we actually have at let's see, we got about 9:50 in here. So waiting on the next new trade, we come back up and we'll see if we get a re-entry set up. We actually do. We get a nice re-entry set up. Put the arrow down right here. And again, you have to kind of know the high velocity market master what's happening here, but we're able to get short off of this candle and we get a pretty good move down. Okay, as you can see, we get a really nice extended move down for some profits. Now the next big report was the 10:30 inventories report, and this one always is very volatile for this market, but really all the markets tend to move on this report. And you can see where it came out. I mean, you can see how volatile this is. The last thing I try to do is trade through this news. To me, it's a waste of time. You get very bad fills. It's worse, I think, than even flipping a coin because you have no idea what the result is going to be or the direction the market is going to take off. And if anything, markets love to do just this. They whipsaw you in both directions, and sometimes if you try to trade the news right on the news, you'll end up with a couple quick losses. Now, absolutely, there are going to be times that you stand aside and you miss what appears to be a really good trade, but you don't know if you could have executed on that trade. You don't know what the slippage would have been. Sometimes the speed is so fast, like people look at this and they look, oh, there's a lot of bars. Do you realize all these bars here as I scroll over all happened at 10:30, right? And this is sometimes even more than this. This was not even as many as I see sometimes. But you have 25, 30 bars here, all happening within a few seconds or under a minute. So good luck, right, trying to execute there. But at 10:25, I'm out. I'm not going to be looking to take any entries. I'm not going to take this long that potentially could have triggered maybe a potential short. I'm going to wait until 10:35. Okay, so at 10:35 I can come in and start taking trades. Well, I have a nice high velocity market master set up right here. You can see the little plus sign is when we've got a potential entry. Take the most recent trade. I go long. I'm going to try from the 67 range to get up to here to about 67.30. And you can see market goes a little bit sideways for a while, but let's put a horizontal line in. Remember, it was right here. And you can see I hit target right up in here. Now, it's a lot of up and down move after the news. Sometimes we get really big movement. So I had to work for it a little bit here, but I had no reversals. I had no reason to get out. And I go ahead and pick up the profit there. And that's about $280 per contract. Even better, the move continues. Okay, so I have the potential to re-enter on this trade. Again, if you're familiar with the method, if you're not, I would definitely suggest sign up, get on the waiting list. We're not currently, it's sold out, but we'll have a new release coming pretty soon. and I get a reentry here that ends up doing very nicely and hitting another target. Okay, so that's 2 in a row. I have another reentry after the news here that ends up hitting target. That's 3 in a row. I think that's enough at this point to obviously hit any objective you have. So I didn't have to deal with this mess at all. And you do not have to deal with news. I would say you avoid it. We trade outside of it. And you know what? 5 minutes after the news, many times there's excellent movement. If the reaction is very muted, it might just be back to normal. But there's just no reason I need to kind of take that extra risk. And I'm showing you crude, but it doesn't matter if I'm looking at the pound US dollar, if I'm looking at the E-mini futures, if I'm looking at the DAX, Euro futures, whatever you're trading, know the reports that potentially can impact the markets. And basically, I say, avoid them like the plague if you're a day trader. There's no reason to, because there's great trading after many times. And before, if you stay structured, manage your trade properly, don't take anything new heading into the news, and you're not going to get caught in these famous whipsaws that seem to happen almost every time there's a report. So just wanted to share that with you. News is a great thing. We love it. It's great for active trading. It's not like we avoid it, but you got to learn how to trade around it and also through it. So I hope that helps, and we'll be back with you soon. Like I mentioned, if you're not currently on the wait list on the High Velocity Market Master, you're not currently an owner, the last release sold out. It's definitely a good time, if you can, to get yourself on the waiting list, so at least you get first notice on the next release of copies. Okay, so that's it. Thanks. Hope you have a good day.